What's up, fuckers? My camera's not working. Hilarious. But my internet's working. So here. Hey there. Welcome to the Monday edition of the studio feedback live stream, studio feedback stream that's done live on stream here on Twitch. From my studio, which is a shed in the woods in New Brunswick. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. If you'd like to submit your tracks for future streams, then go to my Discord server. It's discord.gg discord.gg/Fowler Music. I gotta stop trying to be fancy. Okay, well, since this is like 3 or 4 days late because it's been rescheduled from Friday, let's just hop right into FL Studio. And I got a surprise for you. I'm on the other side of the street. Oh no. Okay, hold on a sec. Ooh, okay. I forgot to rearrange the chat bubble. There. Never mind. I'm not on the other side of the screen. Okay, hi. Here we go. First up, we got Swiss cheese, which I don't know if I've actually eaten Swiss cheese, like actual Swiss cheese, but let's see what this track sounds like. It's called Echo. Wow, my speakers are loud. This track is also loud. Okay, let's stop it there for a sec. This is musically this is dope, but like whoever is playing the drums didn't get the memo that this is a chill kind of track. Like I do feel like the ride is maybe a bit much. In fact, the drums just kind of, I don't know, like it's so emotional and melodic, and then the drummer is just kind of like, you know, like rocking out like that wedding drummer that was really popular on YouTube 15 years ago. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's a lot of good emotional musical things. The problem that I'm having is arrangement wise, this build up is like there's not a whole lot going on. The piano isn't exactly amazing sounding. It kind of sounds like a lo-fi house piano, which is fine, but the chords are great, the melody's great, but I just feel like this build from here to here is maybe too long for the amount of information that you're giving us. Like there's not enough to keep, it's not enough to keep me engaged. we've got this whole section here that's just chords, you know, and yes, there's a little bit of build up, and now we have like a bass line and stuff. And then when we finally get here, that beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, boop, the main hook is great, but I feel like we're back to here. I just don't feel like I've traveled anywhere really. Let me see if I can figure out a way to solve that. I almost feel like it needs vocals in this section, or like a different melody, like a longer melody that could be played with the quick melody, almost like a counter melody. But the big takeaway, I think, is just that it's... Oh, did I not change the... I forgot to change the stream name. Sorry. It's not outdoors. Sorry. Yeah, it's just not moving quite quick enough. It's not evolving quite quick enough. I really like those chord changes. They're really solid. The chords are great. But I don't have a chance to miss that main melody. It just kind of keeps coming back. I feel like there's not enough sidechain. It feels like I'm hearing the click of the kick, but everything else just kind of feels like this like flat level. So maybe a bit more sidechaining will allow the thump of the kick to cut through a bit better. But if you could give us some other melody or something to make that beep boop beep 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 boop, like something that plays off of that. Right now it almost feels like you have a main character, but you don't have any supporting cast. You know, you don't have like the main character's girlfriend or the main character's sister or something, or brother. It's really solid chord wise, melody, it's hooky, it's catchy. It's just not quite developed enough. So I think you should keep going with it. Maybe add a little bit more side chaining to most of the elements. Try adding it to all the elements, like all the melodic stuff, everything, and see what it sounds like. But yeah, very cool track. Thank you for sending, and keep going with it. Okay, whoops. Next up, we got Overdose, Kazakhstan. We are hiring vocalists, finally, for everything Bass House. Okay, so it's a job posting. That's cool. Okay, let's stop it there. Very cool. Let me go back here for a sec. Okay, the drum fills are really quiet. I could just picture, like, I know that it's not really a band playing this, but I'm picturing like a band in a desert and they're all grouped together, but then like way off in the distance, you just kind of see like the silhouette of a drummer and he's like, cut-a-doom, does the little fill, cut-a-doom, and then the rest of the band is right up front. That drum fill should be right up front. Smack me in the face with it. And then there's something kind of odd about the side chaining. It sounds, yeah, it's whatever's going on with the side chaining, it's offset. I can see it. I could feel it and I could hear it before I could see it. But now that I'm looking, I'm not quite sure what that is. And it's not necessarily wrong. It's just, it doesn't feel right to me. It could be a taste thing, but this little, you can kind of see this little dip in volume right before the kick or the snare hits. It sounds like yeah, there's just something, I don't know what it is. If it's LFO tool, it could be latency. Yeah, it could be a number of things. It could have been, you might have, whoever made it might have shifted it over to try and get rid of like the click off of the synth hit, you know, like make it almost like a pre-shifted sidechain or something. I'm not quite sure, but at least look into it. And if it's intentional and you love it, then that's great. But to me, it kind of feels like it's a little choppy, a little too early. I really like that ding 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 ding. Yeah, this part's sick. Like, this track is great. I think the the drum fill, it's almost comically quiet. So turn that way up, in my opinion. The drop is sick. Like the oh, it's so good. And then just look into the look into the side chaining issue and see if you like it. If you don't like it, maybe it needs a bit of adjustment. And then overall, you could kind of see that you got some headroom here. It could be pushed a little bit harder in the mastering. It doesn't need to be, it sounds loud, but like, you know, I just gained like 3 dB for basically nothing, like no real downside, kind of for free sort of thing, right? But yeah, could be pushed a little bit harder in the mastering, which I'm not used to saying. But besides that, very cool track. Add some vocals, cool. All right, we got a short one by 720, and it's called One, and it's short.
What do you think, I was born yesterday? Aw,
Okay, this is a pretty cool start. It's short. That sounds like he's saying pog.
what do you think, I was born yesterday?
Okay, what you have here is a very cool drop. Make it into a song. I'm not sure that I have very much else to say about it. It's a cool drop, but it's just that. Make it into a song. If there's gonna be vocals, or like vocal hits or samples like here, I'm pretty sure he says, "What do you think I was born yesterday?" But it's like super not intelligible. It's underneath everything.
What do you think I was born yesterday?
Like, let us hear those vocals. Like, maybe don't do the those sounds while the vocals are happening. And then besides that, don't spend any more time on the drop. You have already spent enough time on the drop for now. What you need to do is move on to the rest of the song. Make it a song, you know? It's so easy to just spin your tires on the drop and perfect it. Oh, it's so good. And you like it and you love it and you want to listen to it and you're like, it's so good and you're so proud of it. And I'm not saying this is what you're necessarily doing, but I know myself, I'll work on a drop that I like and I'll have such a desire to just keep working on that drop. And then before I know it, I have like an amazing drop, but it's not a song. It's just an amazing drop. And then everything that I try to write around it sounds weak in comparison. So it's usually good to try and get like try to sketch out the structure or the arrangement of the tune before you go diving super deep into any section. But yep, besides that, sounds dope. Very cool drop. Make it a song. Moving on. Excuse me. All right, we got a not loud track here. Summer's Over by MJ, I'm assuming. I was waiting, like, it needed like a producer tag. Like I was waiting for, oh my God, Ronnie. This is some like avant-garde shit right here. I'm just gonna do this real quick. Okay, so I think the biggest thing that I'm not into on this track is I was into this. But when you brought in like that lower octave set of chords, they're too muddy. There's too much congestion down, like too many notes close to each other. And it just gets really, really muddy when you put all of those kind of notes really close to each other down in the low register. I think the biggest thing with this one so far is the congestion in the chords, bottom in, bottom down. And then the next thing is you don't really have, like, for this style, you're kind of expecting the hold on, like the 808. Yeah. You don't have an 808. I think you need an 808 for this style. The kick is not very punchy. I really like what's happening here. This is very close to being musically strong, but the chords are just not quite right. Like the stuff down in the bottom end, not quite right. Like the do do do, that new melodic thing that came in is dope. And if it had the right chords to kind of back it up, it would be really, really strong. But those chords are just kind of a mess. Like they're just too jazzy for their own good, you know? So yeah, those are my thoughts. The biggest thing, figure out your chords. Make the chords a little less dissonant. Come up with something that's a little bit more musically, for a lack of a better word, like normal or predictable. And be careful in general of stacking too many notes too close together in the lower register of the piano roll. That's when stuff gets really muddy. All right, cool. Let's move on. Thanks for sending. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. We got Net Felix. Tell me what you want. Version 4. Feedback November 4.
You twisted everything, but I won't fall for it. You got what you needed. It was a magic trick. I was alright before you showed up at my door, but you never wanted more. Just wanted to explore.
The drop, dope, cool. I don't have any real issues with that. This,
you showed up at my door, but you never wanted more. Just wanted to explore.
I think the biggest thing that I don't like is the kick in this section just sounds like a really low quality acoustic sounding kick. It kind of sounds like the kick drum from the original Doom soundtrack. That's what I'm hearing. And then the bass, I don't know what's going on with the sub bass in this section. It's like, technically, yes, it's a build-up, but it's not really getting me anywhere near ready for what's about to happen. Like this part's dope, but you can just see visually, like, I don't know. This part just kind of is not that great compared to the rest. I like this section. And I like the atmospheric vocal stuff. I'm not saying that nothing in here is good, but that kick drum is just like, it's just not good, I don't think. And then whatever the sub is doing, it's just kind of like, nom, 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 nom. Like there's nothing really getting me hyped up for this dope drop that's about to happen. So I would put some work into that, into making this like I want to get fired up. I wasn't ready to fucking mosh, you know? I want to be ready. It's really good though. That part is really good.
There's nothing wrong with taking what you need, taking what you need, but I wish you would have explained that to me, explain that to me.
Raham has a good point about introducing the motif in the build. I agree.
Explain that to me, so please don't.
Did Raham tell you to do that?
Please tell me what you want.
Okay, there sounds like there's something wrong in the bass.
If that's what you really want.
It might be the kick drum, like the note that the kick is playing, and when the bass goes up to that higher note, it kind of feels like wobbly or something.
If that's what you really want.
Okay, my next feedback is that this section, it wasn't enough for me. Like,
Please tell me what.
to me, it almost should be like this. Okay, so what's the tempo? Raham's at 100. I don't know if that's right or not. Let's find out.
So
Yes, that is right. Okay. To me, I would do this.
So please tell me what you want. 'Cause your words are making me feel like.
Treat this section as like the second half of the drop, or like the B section of the drop. Instead of having another breakdown, like you just got us up and rocking, and now we got to sit back down for a second. You know, like with that. Why? Don't. So then rock this, and maybe develop this section a little bit more so it's not quite as subdued. You know, it's a little heavier. It can keep up with this a little bit more. It's not going to be as aggressive as this because you have the vocals in there to make room for, but amp it up a bit more. And then when we finally break down after that section, now we kind of deserve a breakdown a little bit more than the way it was. This section kind of still feels a little random to me. I mean, like we got some like piano going and stuff. There's nothing wrong with the section, but I'm just wondering in the grand scheme of the song, where are we at?
You twisted everything, but I won't fall for it. You got what you.
You also have used that downshifter effects numerous times. Maybe try to switch it up every once in a while. Again, this is super cool, but I'm just not sure how we got there. Like, I don't know. I keep cutting shit out, but like... Yeah, so I would say the structure is what needs the most work. I like this structure better already, just looking at it. We're at to around 3 minutes. You know, it's obviously not perfect. Like, this doesn't build up very well here. But once you get us going, like, keep it rocking for a while until we need a breakdown. Then give us a breakdown, and then build us back up, back into a drop. The build up, breakdown, build up, breakdown, build up, breakdown, that just gets almost exhausting when we're not ready for the breakdown, right? Like, we just had one drop, one short drop, and then a full breakdown, and we got to wait for a while before we get to, like, the drop sections again. So, anyway, that's my thought. The drops are sick. I love the sound design. The mix and master sounds good. It's just, excuse me, how are you going to string these parts together in the song to make some sort of story and to carry us along for the ride a little bit better? All right, cool. Thanks for sending. Moving on. We got Nemkai, different styles, assignment for school. Okay. Okay, so before I move on, Coter B5, DM me the new version of the track, and I'll wait till you do that to play it. Okay, this is super fun. For some reason, I can picture like a bank robbery, but everybody's like, ah, and the guy with the gun's like, ah, and then they're like giving him money and they're like, ah. It's like, it's heist music, but everybody's on the same page. They're all okay with the heist. He's like, hey, give me all your fucking money. And they're like, oh, come on, guy. And he's like, come on, give me the money. And they're like, all right, you silly goose. Anyway, that's what that reminds me of. Canadian bank robbery? That is a dope artist name. Wow, that's actually a sick name. I kind of agree with Rayham. The drop is not my favorite part. My favorite part is all of the cool jazzy shit that comes up before it. It's not that the drop doesn't have good potential. I just think that it's a little bit more cookie cutter. So like right here, this little section, how there's kind of like that filter and there's like a little fill. I think like spreading a few of those sorts of things beforehand, doing some sound design stuff. It's, sorry, I have a cough today. It's just kind of like, it's too almost basic for the style of music that it is. Like we have a lot of musical complexity happening here. Right? And then we kind of just have like a bass that's holding its note and sustaining and moving around. And then we have a lead that's holding its note and sustaining and moving around. It just doesn't have the complexity that you would kind of expect from that style of music. Maybe even like cut it, almost like sampling some of the stuff at the first and chopping it in here and there. I don't know. It's definitely, I can tell it's, you know, obviously a work in progress, but it's super sick. Like there's the first part is incredible. The drop is good, but it's not great yet. But I think you just have to keep going with it. It just feels undeveloped. It just feels like you figured out a bass line, figured out a lead, put some drums on it, and that's where you're at. So yeah, I guess just keep going and good luck. Very cool. Thanks. All right, Need You Evoker remix. Look at that kick drum. What is that transient? Never mind. That's something else. Did she say I should have kissed your mother? So right now, I'm really just concerned in understanding what the lyrics are. That's my main concern. So let's take it fight by fight. Don't run away, but now I might. There's nothing I can save us from our worst. See us taking day by day. Afraid of something you might say. And even though I'm far away, always thinking Should have kissed you longer is probably the words, but I'm going to continue believing it's I should have kissed your mother. It still kind of sounds like mother. Anyway, okay, let's move on to critiquing the remix instead of the lyrics. Okay, so first of all, the kick drum, it doesn't really reach down into the sub range. It kind of just goes doom, 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 doom. You know what I mean? Like, let's grab, I don't know what I was doing in the Vengeance Dirty House Electro folder. Let's just grab a different kick and see what you could have underneath instead. No. Let's do, oh my God. I need to make music more often. I don't know. That's not the right kick, but let's, oops. So obviously this is not going to sound right, but you can hear how the kick just doesn't extend down. You know what I mean? So that might just be like a different sample, unless you have done something to it to make that happen. Could just be a better kick drum sample. I like the chords that are happening for sure, but especially when we get further into the track, they're really loud, like that electro kind of, like the Dead Mouse kind of synth thing. You can kind of see the shape of this, right? This is like low mids. It's into the bass, but it's not like the sub. The sub is like down here further. You've got this super bright synth. So let's actually grab Ozone and we'll try to isolate that frequency. Okay, so now that we've got this kind of frequency isolated, let's just pull it down. Yeah, there's just a lot of action on that one frequency. I'm looking forward to figuring out what this is. I think it's mostly, it might not even be an EQ thing. It might just be that synth, the big main electro kind of chord organ, distorted organ sounding thing is maybe just too loud. I don't know what's happening here, but it seems like a mistake. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why this happened. I'm also not quite sure why we have this much headroom on the track, except for this section here. It seems strange. I don't know if there's some strange anything in like the master bus, some sort of automation, or I'm not sure. But look into that. It was a render thing. Okay. Yeah, because like I wasn't quite sure why. I went to normalize it because I thought, oh, okay, it just has like 4 or 5 dB of headroom, right? But whatever that is, fix that, obviously. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, so basically the track sounds good. The drops sound cool. I like the Complextro Wolfgang Gartner kind of shit that's happening. It's all very cool, but that synth is really far forward, causing like this super brightness, or like that 5 kilohertz kind of, whoa, that's sharp. bring that down a bit. And I think the biggest thing is just getting a better kick drum in there, because you can just feel like there's no real body to the kick drum. It's just like a boom. It almost sounds like a top kick drum, and it doesn't have like the bottom to it. Like, I don't know if this is 128. I'm going to take a wild guess and... Oh my god. All right, let's just grab another kick and let's do this. And then I'm going to sidechain your kick to it, to that kick. Or I'm sidechain your whole track to this kick, because why not? And then let's just see, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, let's see if, and obviously you doing this on your end is going to be a trillion times better, but like at least this will give you an idea. See the difference? Like yours is kind of like a duk, duk, duk. And I'm not saying this is the right kick drum for the job, but like... Obviously, we're losing the snare / clap with the side chaining, so I can replace that real quick. Whatever. This is just for demonstration purposes, so please don't use these exact samples. So let's see what that sounds like. Oh god, I hate that. It's fine. Okay, so let's compare. We'll do a couple bars of my kick drum / snare here, and then we'll go back to yours. Like that. Okay. There you go. All right, so those are my thoughts. If you've got something going on with the render, then definitely check that out and fix that. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. Cool track. Make it a bit more girthy in the drum range. Shit, where am I? All right, Kelly Bailey. Triage at Dawn. Ice Cab remix. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm hearing clipping on the piano. You can hear that clipping. You can see it clipping. I'm hearing clipping here too. So I'm not quite sure what's happening in your master bus, but there's some fuckery afoot. It's kind of hard, like it almost sounds like it's going through a fuzz pedal. So again, don't be louder than you can be. Turn things down and let this track be too quiet and work your way up. Musically, it's cool. Like, I like what's happening. Yeah, the biggest thing is watch out for that clipping. I know if you ain't redlining, you ain't headlining, but that's not really true. Go in, figure out where this clipping is happening. It might just be everything piling up in the master bus and clipping when you're under it. It might not sound like it's clipping when you're listening to it in whatever DAW that you're doing, but if it does go above 0, then it's going to be clipped when you are when you render it out. This would be much more enjoyable to listen to if it was much quieter and not as clipped. So that's my biggest thought on this one. Go figure out your clipping first and then go from there. All right, moving on. We got Evangelist, Xavier. Let's have a listen. See, this is fucking weird, but it would go hard if the drums were better. So, hold on. Here we go. What tempo are we at? 140? Are we at 140? Yes. There's really no punch to the drums. So, like, just bear with me for a second here. Sure. I'm just going to copy your drum pattern here real quick and just put like some different drums in and we're going to have a listen. I don't know, fucking sure. Sure. Musically, it's kind of a mess too. So, okay. Here's the sub range. I mean, I straight up just heard a 1 semitone dissonant thing, like 2 notes, 1 semitone apart. Right there. Hear it phasing. So one exercise you can do is do that sort of thing. You don't need to do it with this. You could do it with a normal whatever EQ. Like you could just do it with a fruity EQ. Put it on your master bus and low pass the whole track. And then ask yourself, can I determine what notes are being played? And can I determine the beat of the kick drum clearly? And the answer for this track is no to both of those. It's just kind of like a rumbly mess down there, right? So let's do the opposite. Let's high pass and listen. I hear a lot of dissonance happening all over the place. So the chords that are being played do not necessarily work together very well. It sounds like you are familiar with the style of music and the placement of things and the rhythm and the stuff that you're doing is right, but musically, there's 2 main problems. The kick drum has absolutely no bottom end, and musically, elements are not agreeing with each other in terms of the the key of the song. So I think you need to go back to the drawing board. Figure out a kick drum that has more kick to it. This almost sounds high passed or band passed or something. Like this. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. I seriously feel like I'm having a fever dream. Like my brain is boiling itself. But yeah, get a hold of you need to get more control of the key of the song more than anything. Like the kick drum is definitely a problem, but the biggest problem is musically, note wise, it kind of just feels like you're like laying on the keyboards a little bit. Where I couldn't properly add any bass without it getting muddier. I'm gonna lower the voices. Okay. So my suggestion would be to if I don't know what DAW you use, but one thing that you could do is if you can layer all of your notes from all of the instruments that are being played at any given time and look for dissonances, and maybe just simplify the chords. Go with the normal triads, major minor chords to start with. Get a handle on that sort of stuff. And the reason why things are getting muddy is because you have all of these dissonant notes that are close to each other in the lower end of the chords, and they're doing this sort of shit down there. Simplify your chords. Okay. That's my biggest thing. Simplify your chords, yes. Okay, moving on. What do we got? Edexy. Destiny. The EQ is off of the master.
Now I'm moving. I gotta do what I do. I'm really here on my ones now instead of 4 3s or 2s. And now it's F you from Paris. I could have been Fing you in Paris. I don't wait for the drop. I just flow from the pop.
Love to all those in the session. All of those who are listening. Don't miss the message judging me. You can off quick with energy. Love to all those in the session. All of those who are listening. Don't miss the message judging me. You can off quick with energy.
First thoughts. The build up, the track from all the way from over here.
Now I'm moving. I gotta do what I do. I'm really here on my ones now instead of 4 3s or 2s. And now it's F you from love to don't miss the message.
There's a lot of sub range. There's a lot of energy happening right up into the drop, and there's no really discerning start to the drop because of that. Like thin it out, maybe high pass things as we're getting close to the drop. Make us miss that bottom end and then give us that bottom end. You know what I'm saying? I sound like I'm a dating coach or something. Thin it out. You don't have to thin it out way back there. It could even just be, in fact, let me just do like a little fucking DJ. Let's see what it sounds like if I do this. So. Like I did a really bad job, but you get the idea, right? The problem with this, and don't worry, I'm deleting this off the master bus. The problem is that it didn't really release any tension, right? Because yes, you were building up with the drums and the da 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 da. Yeah, it's just It needs that tension, and you need to build that tension by stripping away the sub range. Yeah. It's sassy. The drop sounds great.
Now I'm moving. I gotta do what I do. I'm really here on my ones now instead of 4 3s or 2s. And now it's F you from Paris. I could have been Fing you in Paris. I don't wait for the drop. I just flow from the pot.
Love to all those in the session. All of those who are listening. Don't miss the message, judging me. You can know energy. Love to all those in the session. All of those who are listening. Don't miss the message, judging me. You can know.
I mean, the drop's sick. The track is sick, I think, and you can just kind of see it here too. Like visually, you can see that there's no real clear start to the drop. Maybe right here.
All of those who are listening, you can.
So maybe just pull everything back a little bit so that when you finally deliver the full beans, we're like, damn, that's the full beans, you know? Besides that, sounds dope. Thanks for sending. All right. Conqueror, Gates of Wind. And Amplex, you are... I haven't done your track yet. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away. Okay, so I can't stop hearing this. This very first, it sounds like the Mario from Super Mario Brothers 3 when you do the, I think it's when you use the flute to go to like the next level or whatever. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. It sounds like that. The start of it anyway. All right. This is all really nice sounding. I love the atmosphere, you know, the musical side of things is great. The pacing is a little slow, and I don't mean the tempo is a little slow. I just mean the pacing. Like I feel like what we're a minute 20 in. Oh, so this is the drop. So see, that's a problem that I'm having is there's no real, again, discernible drop section. And it's not like every song has to be Skrillex and there's a huge build up and then a big drop and lots of wubs and stuff. But I didn't quite feel like we got anywhere. I feel like we were just continuing to work our way somewhere. But apparently this was the somewhere. It sounds dope, but like maybe strip away something and bring in something different, like drastically different, or not drastically different, but there needs to be some sort of discernible start, like to the chorus or the drop or the main section. And I think the thing is you just keep building, but at some point you're going to have to like get there, you know? Like, I feel like we're just building towards something. All right, let's check out the last half here. Yeah, it's the same thing here. It just sounds like the intro still. So it could be something like, instead of following the chord progressions, maybe the drums strip back a bit and we get more like punchy stuff, and maybe we just like stick at a single note at the bass and then work around that one note a little bit. Maybe you strip out a bunch of stuff and you bring in a different kind of sound. It's just, whatever you do, you got to make it feel like we have arrived at something, and I just don't feel like it's quite there yet. But everything that's there sounds great. You know, it just sounds like you've built a track, but you're missing like the drop section. So maybe just save it as a new project file and just fuck it up, you know? Do this, maybe shorten all these sections into half, and then build a drop that goes in here. And then it breaks back down, builds back up, and there's a drop here, right? But yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope that helps. Thanks for sending. Clace Rosen, I don't know how to say either of those. Make a Move, Fehu remix. All right.
Gonna make that move.
That was fucking dope. That was really cool. I enjoyed that thoroughly. What do I have to say about it? I think it should be longer. I'm not ready for that to be done. Are you kidding me? Oh, so good. Okay, I did have one thought. This part, wow, words. Okay, wait. Overall, I like the clean bass of that section, but this sound right here, that real dirty shit, maybe like have a hit right there. Because you have these dirty sounds. Oh, I was so ready for that to happen. So maybe what you do is you have that hit at the start, but then the reverb gets cut off short and then it goes into the clean section. It's kind of like a whoa, a bait and switch, right? Everything else is fucking dope though. It needs to have one more section. It needs to have one more drop. The track needs to be like this long, in my opinion. It needs to keep going. It needs to go more. It needs to go and do more with its life, you know? But yeah, I would say throwing in some dirty, like harmonic sounds, like that grimy kind of distorted, using those sparingly, almost in like a cheeky kind of way in this first drop section, I think that's going to be like even better. Because when it first happened, I was a little thrown off. I was like, oh, this isn't as heavy as I was hoping it would be. But then once I started listening to it, I was like, okay, this is fucking sick. But the initial thought was that it was a bit of a disappointment. That like the first 2 seconds of the drop, I was disappointed, and then I got it, and then I wasn't disappointed anymore. But I think the way to not have any disappointment is to have like a brrrr at the very start. Just to balance like the smooth jazziness with like the distorted stuff. Those are my thoughts. It's dope. I really like that one a lot. It's really good. Keep going. Put it out. It's dope. And also, if all you've used is the vocal, I don't know what you've used from the original track, this Claes Rosen Make a Move, but I would get new vocals. Don't make it a remix unless you love it. And I love the dat, but you could do that with another set of vocals. I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, if this is a remix, if it's a commission, great. If you want it to be a remix, great. If you're using a bunch of elements from the original track, great. But if you're just using the vocals on top of this track, get somebody else to do similar vocals that accomplish the same thing and put it out as an original track. Those are my thoughts. All right, we're gonna move on. Thank you for sending. That was dope. All right, we got Bass Freak Magnetosphere. Okay, there's a lot of muddiness happening in the bottom end. Let me. I think what it is you need to watch my video on sub separation. I think you have a sub bass going, but that distorted doom style bass. I think it still has a lot of low end in it, and they're adding up and getting muddy. How did you DM me, Coter? I don't see it on Discord. Did you send it to me on Discord? I don't see a Discord DM. All right, let's move forward on this one. So this is a very spooky kind of Halloween vibes. I dig that. There's no crash there. I'd put a crash symbol there, but overall, I don't know if you're doing side chaining or not, but there's some weird stuff happening, and you can see that right here. See how some of these kick drums are like bigger than other kick drums, and I could hear it. That's why I went looking. I don't know if you've doubled up some of the samples maybe, or I'm not quite sure what's happened here, or if it's not side chaining, maybe the kick drum sometimes is in phase with the sub, or I'm not sure, but there's something funky going on. If it is side chained, it's not quite side chained enough. What's up, Sin95? I'm glad that my FL Studio tutorials have helped you. You should also check out Seamless. He has way better tutorials than me. But overall, this is very muddy. There's a lot kind of piled up in that low mid-range and low end. I'm not hearing any side chaining, so definitely look into side chaining, and if you are side chaining, I don't think it's quite enough. Thank you, Raham. That means a lot to me. Yeah, the biggest problem I'm having is the balance of dark, muddy, bassy stuff with bright elements. There's not a balance of like those the brightness and the bottom end. I like the little choppy stuff you're doing. That's cool. But yeah, side chaining, check out my YouTube video on sub separation, and those are, I think, my main thoughts. We do feedback every Friday. This is just a reschedule from last week because I had a technical issue with my internet. But you can go to my Discord channel. The link's at the bottom of the screen there, and put in for this Friday coming up, and we'll listen to it then. This also gives me kind of Sans Undertale vibes. Yeah, so those are my main thoughts about this one. Go check out those two videos, or, well, I don't know if I have a video on side chaining. Look up how to side chain in the DAW that you use, and do some sub separation. Make sure the bottom end is isolated from the rest of the stuff that you're playing, and then get a better balance of brightness versus darkness. Get it a little bit more bright. If you look at the spectrum analyzer over here, you can kind of see this big lump in the bottom, and then it kind of falls off in the top end. That's indicating that there's not quite enough brightness. Yeah, I don't know what Sans Undertale actually... I mean, I don't really get it. I'm too old. All right, moving on. Let's check out Amnesia Save Me.
Here in the darkness, I'm breaking free. There's only hope that waits for me. Don't need to change it for clarity. I know what I want, where I am, what I need. So clear in the distance, it's easy to reach. I feel no resistance when I breathe it in. It's coming together, it's all in my hands. I'm on the side.
Was it just a random finger clap? biggest thoughts on this are the bass is not, it doesn't have the top layer to it, especially in this section. It just feels very like subby. And it also kind of feels like it has like some phase cancellation or something. I don't know if there's like whatever the main sub bass is. I'm not sure if there's like a delay on it or something, but every once in a while the notes will sound a little quieter than the other notes.
Here in the darkness, I'm breaking free. There's only hope that waits for me. Don't need to change it for clarity. I know what I want, where I am, what I need. So clear in the distance, it's easy.
See, the sub is loud though. If you look at this, it's very sub heavy, but I think the reason why it doesn't sound like the bass is loud is because it's mostly just like a vroom, vroom, vroom. But if it had like that plucky top layer, I'm sure it probably already has it, but I think it just might be too subdued.
Looking for someone to save me. Searching for the one to save me.
Yeah, there's like a top bass there, but it's not very loud compared to the rest of like the sub range.
Looking for someone to save me. Searching for the one to save me. Looking for someone to save me.
See, if I only solo the top end of the track, we can't really hear the bass like dum 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 or whatever it's doing. We can't really hear it in the top end of the track. All we're getting is like that big sub of it. Like you can hear it, but it's just not very loud and present. I think that's my biggest note on this track is to make the bass a little bit more present. Maybe even turn the sub of it down a little bit because it's very wompy. It's very womp, 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 right? But we don't have like the definition or the interesting character or the color at the top. Other than that, it is cool and I like it and it makes me feel like I'm dancing with a bunch of beautiful people. Cool. All right. Moving on, we got Alkali. Some side trance, last part unfinished. This is very cool, but there's something wrong in the sub range. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff happening, but like the sub range is out of control. You can really see it in the spectrum here how loud it is. So before you move on, I would make sure to figure out whether you need to have a separate sub bass and you do some very careful sub separation, or if there's some effect that the bass is going through that's causing some of the notes to be louder than others, but like it's just kind of real wobbly down in the bottom end. Especially, you can kind of see right here. I wonder if it's maybe the side chain shape. Maybe the side chain is extremely deep, and most of the time the sub bass is quiet, but you can kind of see when you hit that note right before the kick drum, the side chain's finally back up. And then it gets really, really loud right there. I'm kind of thinking that there's a few things afoot here. It's the second time I've used that saying today. But I think the side chain shape is maybe doing you a bit dirty. There's lots of very cool stuff happening though. Yeah. What's up, man? I hope you have a good evening too. I think you got some stuff to look into. I definitely like where this is going. It's very psytrancey. It's very dramatic. It makes me feel like I'm being chased by somebody. But yeah, maybe look into this. Maybe look into specifically the low end, because it gets kind of out of control and it's a little bit flabby, for lack of better words. Yeah, cool track. Thanks for sending. All right, we got Amplex, also Coter B5. I still don't have your track. You're running out of time, bro. Okay, Corrupt Flare. Okay, this sounds like I'm in the 12th circle of hell, which is occupied by jazz musicians and paper shredders. But I like it. So, in this section, my main concern is in the building section here. There's a lot happening, and I'm kind of getting a bit lost. Because there's like a lot of jazziness, so there's a lot of complexity in the chords and the bass, the way it interacts with the chords. you know, you've got these like this chord progression, which sounds like it's kind of doing a certain chord progression, but then the bass line is almost like taking it in a slightly different direction. And then we have the complexity of all the sound design stuff. And I just, at a certain point, I'm just like, wow, where am I? It's definitely dope. Like there's I love the glitch hop sections. There's so much tasty sound design stuff happening. But I almost wonder what it would be like if maybe it dropped into something slightly more simplistic for the first couple bars maybe or something. I feel like you know, it just kind of like, it's like the entire time. So maybe at some point, maybe it builds up and the drop is like, you know, like it's a bit more groovy and less Cohen soundy. Like that stuff is really cool, but it might be a little overused in my opinion. It's almost to the point where I'm like, I don't want to call it annoying, but it's like, it's a lot. So using it just slightly more sparingly maybe might be the move. And it doesn't, you know, I'm not suggesting pulling it out a whole lot. It's just like, I like that dun, 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 dun. Like there's cool grooves in there, but they're almost being convoluted. There's cool grooves there, but they're being like complicated. Maybe they're being complicated by all the sound design, you know, masturbation. And it's cool sound design. It sounds, there's a lot of ear candy, but it's almost like too much ear candy. And I'm definitely not suggesting to like turn this into like a simple track. I think it's just a little too complex. Sound design masturbation. That's right. It's very mysterious sounding. And it's, I had way too much fun with this. I could tell you I had fun, and I'm having fun listening to it. But there's almost like, there's kind of two sides to this sort of music. I think there's the groove, the simplistic groove, like getting into it with your body. And then there's the intellectual kind of glitchy sound design, that stuff, right? And to strike the balance between something that you can groove to easily and something that keeps your brain happy, that's like the goal, in my opinion, with this music, is to strike a good balance between cool intellectual stuff for your brain to chew on, but then also don't make it too hard for me to like groove to. My body does not move in 30-second notes. My body moves in eighth notes and quarter notes. My brain can move in fucking 1/28th notes, baby, but my body can't. I'm not that fast. But it's definitely a really cool track, and I appreciate you sending it, and I hope that helps. All right, we're getting down there. Here we go. This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me. Vamori, Identity. Hey, it rhymes.
I ain't tripping on yesterday, forgetting all of my mistakes, and now I'm on my own, yeah. Travel down the road I walk alone, yeah. I ain't tripping on yesterday, forgetting all of my mistakes.
Okay. There is something cool in here, but it's way too loud. Like, there's not a single dark pixel from the start of the track to the end. It's 100%. Let's see. Let's see what this registers as. Okay, that's very loud. It's too loud. This is there's like the track's cool. The sound design sounds good, but there's absolutely no dynamics, and it's hard to listen to because it's so loud. Go back to your master bus and reevaluate how loud you think things need to be, because it does not have to be this loud. Like, there's sick stuff in there, but it's so hard to really get into it because it's just like full blast. You're losing punch. There can't be punch because when you think about what punch is, it's a loud sound followed by a tail of not as loud sound. But if everything is 100% all the time, then nothing is punchy. It's just a sausage. This is a dope track, but I can't really even navigate it because of how loud it is. I think it would be like all you have to do is go to your master bus, and if you've got your threshold and your master limiter, just like ease it up until it's not that crazy. Because you got a really sick track under here, but it's hard for me to critique anything about it when it's this aggressively mastered. That is my main thought, is to not master it quite as hard, because that is a bit overwhelming for me. But it's a cool track, and feel free to send it after you've lessened the mastering, and I'll check it out then. All right, cool. Moving on, we got Verbatim Chase. Okay, this is getting good. I like where this is going. The kick drum is so loud compared to the rest of the track in this section. I'm not sure that it needs to be that aggressive, especially where the bass is high pass. I feel like you should maybe have the kick not quite so, you know? The kick and bass kind of act as one unit. So when the kick is really thick and heavy and loud and the bass isn't, it feels a little strange to me, and vice versa. Okay, there's a lot of messiness happening in the bottom end. Let's have a listen to just the sub range for a sec. So I can definitely hear the kick drum. I can discern Remember, I was saying it's always a good test to solo the sub range and see if you can easily hear the beat of the song and the key of the song. Well, I can hear the beat of the song for sure, but the bottom end is a bit of a mess when it comes to the bass. I don't really hear the bass, and I just kind of hear rumbling in between kick drums. I think I know what's happening. I think you have a sub bass and you're playing, let's see, you're not playing the same as what the distorted bass. It sounds like you're playing. It just kind of sounds like you're just playing that note. Where you definitely should be playing that note, but I think you should be playing with the bass, like I think your sub bass should reinforce that. But see how I just played that lower octave? It's for sure gonna help to shift it down at least. Play that instead of that. Oh, okay, gotcha. Now it kind of sounds like you are playing it down in that octave, but it's still, I'm not sure if you're side chaining stuff enough, or there's just a lot of messiness happening in the bottom end of the track that doesn't make it clear, like, here's the kick, here's the da 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 da. I think you need to go and forget about everything in the top end of the song for a second and just get that bottom end. Get your mute everything except the kick and the basses. Just play the kick and the basses and make sure that they sound good together, that there's no disagreements, that it's nice and punchy, that they interact back and forth with the side chaining. The kick comes in, and as the kick goes down, the bass replaces it with the side chain coming up. Make sure that all of that is in order before you start stacking on top all the higher drums and the cymbals and all that other stuff. That would be my suggestion. And that's typically when I'm mixing other people's music, or even when I'm mixing my own music, if I have a mix issue, I'll just go back and simplify. I'll go and say, okay, I'm going to send all the drums into a bus, and I'm going to get all the drum elements working together. Now I'm going to solo just the bottom end elements of the track. I'm going to solo the bass, the sub bass, the kick drum. I'm going to make sure they're all working together. Then I'm going to take the low frequency parts of the song and the mid-range parts of the song and make sure that they feel connected. Then I'm going to bring in the brightness, make sure it's the right level and that it's not too bright or too dull. It's instead of just trying to mix the whole thing at once, you simplify down to certain elements that need to work well together, and then you go from there. Yeah, I mean the track's sick. It's very obviously cyberpunkish. I think if you can just get the bottom end in order, you'll be much happier. Okay, we're getting down to the last couple. Got Tendril, sorry for EU format. I don't know what that means. Here we go. This sounds like it came off the same album as the last track we listened to. Yeah, I think I definitely have heard this before. I think you're right, Eswin. So right off the bat at the start here. There's a lot, I don't know if it's like piano. I'm not quite sure where to go with this one. Wondering about these sounds, these real girthy, distorted sounds. What would they sound like if they were, let me see here. Actually, yeah, I think you could pull some low mids out of those sounds. They're just a little too like distorted in a bad way. I do like them in general, but I think that the shape of them, the spectral shape, is a bit off. The snare is kind of a bit farty. Like it doesn't have much punch to it. You can really tell here. This is like a tss, like it doesn't have like a dunk, like a. Yeah, I'm having a hard time forming thoughts on this one. I think it's a bit aggressive on those distorted parts, and the snare is bothering me where it's just kind of like a psst. It almost just sounds like a reverb tail on the kick or something. I really like those parts. Like the what is happening is cool, but see, I don't know. None of those. EDM snare. I wonder what that one would sound like without like the big long tail. Also, is there side chaining on the bass? Because it kind of doesn't sound like there is in that section. Let's see what this sounds like instead. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's immediately much better with like a snare that hits harder. Yeah, my biggest suggestion for this is to figure out how to get the kick and snare to both be crunchy and powerful. And maybe sidechain a little bit more. I think those are my two main thoughts, is to get the kick and the snare to have a bit more power behind them. And I think it mostly comes down to the snare. But anyway, cool track. Thanks for sending. Let's move on to the last track, Coter B5 Underground House. I hope this is the right one. I'm going to go ahead and delete it from the, there we go. Okay, let's have a listen. So my biggest concern, this is really, really cool, by the way. I don't like the clap, clap, the double clap. I don't know where they were, but they were cheesy. They're double claps. There it is, that. Especially because they're like paper crumply claps. I don't know. I would, if that was like a snare going, that would be one thing, but the clap, 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 clap. I don't know. It's a little cheesy. It's very sub heavy. I mean, I've pulled out 5 dB of sub out of this. And then just brought the limiter down to bring the volume back up. If we listen to it without what I've done, let's go here. Listen to the sub range specifically. Now listen to the sub range. The sub range is the same volume, but I've managed to bring the rest of the track up to meet it, right? If I go back and forth between this mastering that I've done and no mastering, all I've done, like, we haven't lost any volume of the sub range. All we've done is brought the rest of the track up to meet the volume. What tempo is it? 128? Is it? Thank you. So if we go to 124, I just want to try a slightly different clap as well. I love the clap snare thing that's there now, but I'm almost looking for a little more like a little more length. That's what she said. So let's just take this. It's probably not the right clap, but just for placement, and then I'll try some this is a sick track, by the way. I love it. Not that at all. I don't know. I like it both ways. I don't know. I like your clap. I think this breakdown could have a bit more dramatic impact to start it off. Okay, so hear me out. This section sounds like it's just shifted into a major key or something, and I don't know. It's kind of missing the badassness of this. I don't know. I don't know if it's the move, man. Having some like mysterious like angel from hell singing, you know, something like super dark and sounds like something from Hellraisers, you know, like not music wise, but just thematic wise. But yeah, you kind of have everything you need for the drop here. Like I wouldn't go trying to make a new drop. I would just be enhancing this one, recontextualizing it, giving it a slightly different vibe, or go. It doesn't need vocals, but I don't know. Just when it went to the happy sound. It kind of kicked me out a bit. Let me hear this build. Let me hear this build. it's when you go dun 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 dun. I don't know. Dun 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 dun. I think you should just stick there. You can maybe explore some different chords and stuff in the breakdowns, but the drops just stick to the dun 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 dun. And also, maybe for the second drop, when you drop into it, maybe it's just kick, clap, bass for the first, section. The first, because we never really got that. We never got to hear this drop just stripped back to down, 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 down. And I'm not suggesting a Rayhem start to the drop. I just mean, like, what would it sound like without all the chicka, 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 chicka? Could it maybe be cool to go and fucking hit us with that dry, To me, this would sound superior, even though it's straight up copy and paste. Or even just kick, hi-hat, clap, hi-hat, kick, hi-hat, clap, hi-hat, instead of all like all the shakers and rhythmic stuff. Like, strip that out and let's just hear what it sounds like a little bit more like like a little more simple and stripped down and just more blunt almost. But I feel very strongly on not going down to the, in my opinion. I think it's way better if you don't, but that's just my opinion. I really like when he says, yeah. You do have those cool. Maybe that becomes the focus. Maybe the second drop spotlights those sound design things a little bit more. So you strip all the percussion stuff back. It's more blunt, more basic beat, and it has like it's more reliant on those cool sound design stuff, and it lets us explore those sounds a bit more. And that's the whole purpose of the second drop. That could be. But yeah, it's really dope. It's really cool, especially that first drop is really sick. And I think if you have Ozone, I can just send you this patch. I mean, basically all I did was pull 5 dB out of the sub range, like from 100 hertz down. I added a little bit of this high mids, like, I don't know, 700 to 4.6K. And then all I did was I just brought these compressors down. So it just started to tickle. It just caught like the peaks of each band. And then I went in and I just kind of slammed it a bit. And then in the, I added a little bit of brightness in the side channels. And again, a little bit of that. It's just sounded kind of scooped to me in the high mid range, or the kind of just straight up mid range. But yeah, I don't know if you use FL or not, but I can do this. If you have Ozone 9 Advanced, add new preset. Okay. This is called Underground House. Is that what it is? Oopsies. Underground House. And then I'll send that to you. Although I will say that it would be much better for you to fix, this is drastic for mastering. Like I would go and fix that in the mix so that you don't have to have 5 dB pulled out of the sub range in the master, but that's just me. All right, cool. Thanks for sending. That was fun. This is me. Thank you everybody for joining and hanging out with me on this Monday, because we had to reschedule from Friday. I hope that my internet issues are mostly behind me now. So that we can continue to have smooth production feedback streams and hang out. I hope you guys have a good week. I will see you on Friday. If you want to submit for Friday, submit to the Discord channel. It's discord.gg/FowlerMusic. I love you. I hope you have a great week. And